Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial. We're going to make an UI element as you can see on the screen, and it's going to be made in shader graph, and you have a percentage slider here, so 0, and the more you increase the more it's going to work. Like imagine it's an engine and it's going to be working really hard up to 100%, and it's kind of jumping on the maximum. So that's a noise that I'm gonna add, and you can remove it if you want or add it. And the colors we can change as well. And you have some parameters here that you can do the thickness of the things, control how it looks. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. So it's tricky, but it's gonna be fun. So let's get started and do it in a fresh scene from scratch. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to copy this one and actually just move this one like this. So I'm just going into the scene I've been working on the previous tutorials. And we're going to take this diagram and we're going to make a round. Let's see, radial meter. So this one has sprite and a text mesh. And this canvas here holds this bar controller. And this bar controller have material and text plugged into it, so we can and also execute in edit mode. So then we can just have this slider here. It's super convenient. So what we're gonna do? Well, we're gonna make a new shader. URP sprite unlit shader graph. So I'm just gonna copy a name and do radial meter, like that. And we're going to create a material from that shader. We're going to make sure we have this one here. And the last thing on this script here, we're going to make sure that the material is the material we just made. So it's working, but the shader is empty. So we're going to make a nice shader. So the first thing that we want to make sure we have, we want the UV, but we actually want the UV with a rotate ability on it, because we're going to use this rotator thing. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make a line here. So if we do a split and we just take the green that represent I axis, and if we do a subtract, so we do a subtract, but we're actually adding the subtract into the B, and here we do 0.5 because if we have 0.5, and imagine we have 0 and 1 here, right? So when this value from here up to here is 0.5 up to 1, and if we take, we have 0.5, and when we subtract these values here, it gets less than 0. So actually the value up here is negative 0.5. Here it's 0. And here it's 0.5. So if we do an absolute node that converts all the numbers to positive, you can see that it's correct. And this is super handy because now we can make a line of this. And the way we're going to make this, we're going to actually have a pointer thickness. We're going to use this one. This one gonna have a slider from 0 to 1. And if we do, first off, we do floor. So this is 0, and this is 0.5. If we do a floor, everything up till 1 will be floored down to 0. So now everything is black. So that means if we do an add here, and sorry, we need more space. So what I'm saying is, this is 0, 0.5. And if we add, let's say 0.5, now it's 0.5 here and 1 here. So it's black. But as soon as we add a little bit extra here, you see now here it's 0.12 and here it's 0.62. So that's why now it's floor, everything above 1 down to 1 and everything under 1 down to 0. So this is super nice. Now we can do a pointer of this one. So we're just going to do a 1 minus. And here we are. Now we got a pointer. And we're going to reshape this pointer later. But for now it's easier to just have a line because it will confuse us later if we make this change now. So here, if we do the add thing, I'm gonna, so let's do a multiply. So you see these two nodes, they don't do anything at the moment. Well, they actually do, but it's this one doing the 1 times 0.5 is the same thing as 0.5 as we had here. And the reason I want to do this is because if I do take, we did this point thickness, right? And it's 0 to 1. So if we do 1 minus on this one and add it into here. If I now increase this one, am I thinking totally weird? Yes, I am. So sorry for messing this up a little bit. We need this value here, 0.5, right? Because now we kind of made the floor 0. But if we do an add more, if we just do a little bit like this, you see now we're kind of adding it, right? So we want, if we do the point thickness and add it here, you see we can manage the line here. And if I do 1 minus here and I multiply it with 0.5 and I plug this one in, what's nice about this is that if I do 0 here now, you see it's totally, it's thickness of 0. But if I increase it a little bit, 0.1, it's actually 0.1 here too. And if I do 0.9, it's 0.9 thick. So it's kind of normalize it for this. So we want the line 0.1 thick. And now we're going to rotate it. So I'm actually gonna do like this and go do an add. And because now we can see what's happening here. So this is super nice. So here we're gonna use percentage. And we're also gonna use width eventually. So if I do percentage, it's 0 to 1, 0 to 1, and it's the units is in degrees here. So if I do multiply percentage with 360, now it's from 0 to 360. So when I do, if you look at this one, I actually do a whole lap. When I do 0 to 1, it represents a whole lap. And the nice thing is here, and it can be a little bit tricky to grasp, but we want it to start center from the top. And we can do this. If we start with a float here, and we do 90 on this one. So if we plug it in here, you see now it's pointing upwards, and we like that. And if we subtract so this is 0, but if the thing, if we do subtraction here with the percentage, you see now it's rotating from the start, from upwards. So we really like that. So that's good. And now, let's say if we didn't want the 360 lap, we only wanted it 180, we need to use this width. And this width is a slider from 0 to 1. So if this one is 0.5, that means the lap can only go 180. So we multiply the width is 0.5 and the percentage 0 is here, and see when we go and when we're closing to 1, it's only doing 180. And this is super nice because now this means that we have a width that controls how it's going to be. So if you look here, now we can go this, and this is 0.1, and this is width. And if we use the without it, it would actually go all the way around. Super nice sketch, isn't it? So, but now the really nice part, because we want this to be, we want to make sure that we have it like this instead of having it, okay, instead of having it like this, we want it to be like this. And the way to do that is to multiply this one with 180. So let's say, yeah, if we do 1 width, that is equal to 360. We want to kind of offset it with 180 degrees. And we also want to subtract it with 90 degrees because we want it to maintain this direction. So the width is 0.5. That means it's going to start here and stop here. And if we do 0.25, it's going to be 45 degrees. It's going to start here and go all the way 100%, 45 degrees here. So let's try it out. 0% percentage. And when we get close to 1, we are here. This is can be tricky to wrap your head around, but I really hope you kind of understood it and just play around with this and you will eventually understand it. So we don't the reason why I didn't want to mask this one yet is because let's do an ellipse here, right? And we do a float. And do 0.15 and we do a max. So we want to mask this. And if we do percentage, well, we do width to be 1. So what we essentially did, we just made this one straight, pointing upwards. So the green part, you see the red one, it's 0 and 1 red. And the green is 0 and 1. So the green, we did an offset here. So this is the green. Now we're going to work with the red one. Because if we do, and yeah, I'm going to make sure I explain this one. But if I do, this is going to be kind of the top part. So if I do floor here, and I actually, if I take 1 here, or if I do the same as before, 0.5, and you see here, if I do this one, this is the value that the red part here represent, 0 to 1, the red one. So this is red values 0 to 1. And if we have float value 0.5 and we add it, and that means now it's 0.5 and it's 1 and 1.5. But if you floor it, 0.5 will be black up until it gets 1. It's going to get 1. And 1.5 also going to get 1. So this is a way to mask. And we're going to do the same thing again with this subtract. And I'm going to do a 0.5 here. And we're actually going to do a ceiling here. And what we want to do with this is we're going to multiply this together. And the reason this is black, because if you see here, we are multiplying black with white, 0.1. Well, I mean, 0 times 1 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. But if we do a float here and we do 0.5 and plug it in here. Now, if we do 0.5, 1 or 2 Oh, we need to like this. Now we see what's happening. Now we kind of, wherever these two overlap, we get the value here, right? So this is what we are doing. And the really neat part with this thing is that now, if we are multiply this together, we can control the length. So this is super nice, but we're not going to have a float to control them both. What we do want, we can have, I'm doing an add again. And I'm going to have it here to, so if we do this one, we have the pointer. But the question is, should it be downwards or should it be upwards? So this is why we wanted to do this to the last, because I don't want you to make error here. So what you want to do, you want to make sure, well, actually, I think it is like this. You want it to point downwards. And yeah. So it's working because now when the percentage is 1, and this is maximum because the width is 45 degrees. That means this should be 0 over here. So we go down here and this is 0. So it works. Woohoo! Oh, it's tricky. If you don't understand it, I understand you. It is pretty, you need to work with it a bit to understand it. So let's try it out. In the scene, and we are going to do 0 and 1. Oh my god, it works. This is so great. So thank you so much for watching so far. In the next one, we're going to continue and add the next stuff to it. Thank you and see you in the next one.